Hey, look, it's 2020 when Google, of all things, starts chucking a little tantrum. After years of essentially stealing news content from Australian media companies, or as it's been alleged, the federal government has finally introduced a mandatory code that would require sites like Google and Facebook to pay for that content. However, Google hasn't completely ruled out dumping its Australian news service altogether if talks break down. Now, Ben, this isn't interesting. Is this a win for local media, or is it just pointless going up against a Goliath like Google?
Oh, look, I think it is a little pointless because I don't necessarily know if they're going to make the traction that they need. I think with online, it's just a really hard thing for us to be able to start, quartering it up and working out how and what and, how it all comes together. I think, and who owns what.
The thing here is what they're taking issue is that Google gives search results based on news items out there. But what I don't understand about this whole thing is that these companies want to be high in the Google search rankings. I can tell you they all have SEO experts making sure that their headlines are written the right way to get higher in Google's search rankings so that they can drive people back to their websites and make advertising and make revenue from the advertising or the paywalls if you're the Daily Telegraph and the like. So I've always been bemused at this idea. They're all annoyed that Google and Facebook are taking the advertising dollar. Fine, that's fair enough. But the fact is that I understand where Google's coming from, that's fine. We just won't include you in our search results anymore. Happy days. So I've never understood. It just seems like I don't think the Australian media companies have a leg to stand on here because you want the powerful search results and driving your business, but then you want them to pay for giving you that leg up. I don't understand it at all.
No, but if you've got a pie there, yes, 7, 9, 10 are getting a piece of that pie, but Google is getting a much larger piece of that pie for doing absolutely no work apart from putting that on a search engine. I'm not saying that,
isn't that
Google could
commerce?
get no...
Isn't that how things
work?
Yeah,
but hold on. Yeah, but just because it is doesn't mean it should be.
That's fine.
That wasn't my line.
I love the idea that the networks can say we don't want to be included in your search results. Great for people like me. I want tvblackbox.com.au, which is my TV website, and the Ben Robin Robbo Show to be included in search results. Google, please continue to include us. If 7, 9 and 10 and the ABC don't want to be included, happy days.
It's not about that, Robert. It's about actually paying for the content that Google makes millions and millions and millions of dollars.
We subscribe to those websites.
But not for 7, 9 or 10 you don't. But they're making huge amounts of money based on the free content that they do. So they take the content and then charge all of the advertising money, then take all the advertising money, keep it all for themselves. Meanwhile, local media, local reporters and news services are dying because a company that made $136 billion last year can't afford to actually pay for a little bit of the news content that they pull in. Like, I don't know. This is the same as when big companies don't pay for their tax.
No, it's not the same as that at all, Robbo.
It is the same as that because basically you are not reinvesting back into the country that you are taking content from. So you should reinvest. They should be sharing some ad revenue with the content providers.
But what are we actually asking Google to pay for here? Are we just penalising them because they're too big and they're getting the biggest share of advertising?
I just said, okay... They're just getting content, like they're getting content for free.
They're not getting content. They're putting content up that you then click your link and you go back to the website. And so it's driving you back to news.com.au or theage.com.au or any of those websites.
Which Google then owns the advertising on some of those websites. Like, how do you think Google makes all of its money? So they're making all this money off content that they're not paying for.
And news.com.au has its own sales team and no ads come from Google there. But Google gets money from the advertising it has in those search results. When you get your paid ad.
There should be more money paid for it.
By the way, I did a search today and news.com.au was the top of the list because it had paid to have its story about COVID-19 at the top of the list. It was a promoted post.
But they're using this content to push and get advertising for themselves and not sharing it with the content providers. Yes, News Corp pays for that ad at the top, but they're also taking money out from them to do that. Now, all the ads, I really would, I have to look this up, but all of the ads that appear on 7, 9, and 10 websites, yes, no doubt they've got sales team who put those things in there, but there are also Google ads within those pages, 100%. Look at the Daily Mail.
Well, I can tell you that's
half
not
of their
true
sales
because
there.
they sell news.com.au sells its own advertising. It does not embed Google ads in its web
What about
pages.
no?
I can
What
tell you
about
that
the bottom of the?
100%.
What about the bottom of their website? So if you go to any kind of news.com.au article, and you click on an article here, and then you go down to the bottom, and then it's got all these awful kind of links to different things that aren't owned by.
That's
News
deals
Corp.
that news.com.au does. I don't specifically know how that works, but I know that their sales team sell all the different advertising in there. But I just think that if I was Google, I'm going to tell you right now, I would be absolutely saying to them, that's fine. We won't include you in any of our news feeds. And that will do the consumer an injustice because fringe websites that aren't trustworthy, not ours, we're very trustworthy, but fringe websites that aren't trustworthy will get higher up in the queues. And that's not good when people are putting fake information out there. David, why am I apologising?
Well, I understand, Rob, we've done some extensive research in that time, and we found that, in fact, on the main pages and story pages of news.com.au, there are advertising by Google Ads, because you can tell by the little ads by Google up in the top corners
right,
of
hang on.
the ads on the side.
That's not an ad.
What does that say?
That's not a Google ad.
But there are,
Oh
I've
my
sent you
God,
the
it
picture.
did! It did. It said ad by Google.
Disaster across Victoria. This means that
It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.